The Secret Forest of the Stars. Once upon a time, there was a place called the Secret Forest of the Stars hidden among the distant mountains. At night, the trees in the forest emitted a gentle light, as if the stars were hiding among the branches. However, only a few people knew of the existence of this forest. This is because the stars slept quietly during the day, and at night they rose into the sky to illuminate the world. But the stars had a secret. After their nightly work was done, they came down into the forest and loved to play with the animals that lived there and the children who visited. However, only special children chosen by the stars were allowed to play with them, and only a few children knew about their secret. One summer night, a little girl named Mai and her brother Yu found a glowing forest outside their window. They were captivated by the mysterious light and immediately ran out of the house. "Mom, can I play outside for a little while?" Mai asked. "Don't go into the forest. It's dark and dangerous," their mother said worriedly. The two nodded and followed their mother's instructions, but they walked to the entrance of the forest, drawn by the light. When they arrived at the entrance, the trees were glowing softly as if calling out to them. They were drawn in by the beauty, and before they knew it, they had stepped into the forest. "This forest is really a forest of stars," Mai said excitedly. "Yes. Something is shining over there." Yu pointed. In the direction they were pointing, a small light was flickering. It was like a piece of star flying between the trees. As they followed the light, it gradually grew bigger, and eventually a small star appeared in front of them. "Hello!" the star said with a gentle smile. "I'm Rumi, the star who lives in this forest." "Who are you?" Mai and Yu were surprised, but introduced themselves. "We are Mai and Yu." "Are you really a star?" Rumi nodded. "Yes, we stars play in this forest at night. After work is done, we come down from the sky and have fun with everyone." "Amazing! It's like a dream to be able to play with the stars," Mai said excitedly. Rumi thought for a moment and said, "Today is a special night, so I'll tell you the secret of the special stars." Rumi stretched out her hand, took Mai and Yu's hands, and floated gently into the sky. The two were surprised, but followed Rumi without fear. As they floated above the forest, the night sky felt even closer. "Look, there's a special star over there," Rumi said, pointing at a big star that shone brightly. "That star is called the wishing star, and it will grant children's wishes if they wish for it from the bottom of their hearts." Mai and Yu asked with shining eyes, "Does the wishing star really grant wishes?" "Yes, but you can only wish for one thing, and only if it's something truly important to you," Rumi explained. "Then can we make a wish too?" Yu asked excitedly. Rumi nodded and said, "Of course. But before that, another adventure awaits us." Rumi took her hand again and led her deeper into the forest. The forest was filled with even more mysterious light, and the stars were flying around with smiles on their faces among the trees. Up ahead, there is an old tree, and the star key is hidden inside it. If you find the key, you will be able to meet the wishing star, Rumi told them. The two of them started to search for the key with all their might. They searched under big trees, in gaps between rocks, and even in small springs in the forest. However, they couldn't find the key for a long time. Maybe it's this? Mai said, finding something under the leaves. It was a small silver key. That's it! Mai, you found it, Rumi said happily. The three of them took the key and floated back into the sky, heading towards the wishing star. The wishing star welcomed them warmly, shining quietly. So, what is your wish? The wishing star asked quietly. Mai and you looked at each other and thought for a moment. Then Mai said, I hope that your mother and father stay healthy and that the whole family is happy. You nodded with the same feeling. Hearing their wish, the wishing star shone gently. That wish is very important. I'm sure it will come true. At that moment, the star's light grew stronger, and the whole forest was lit up. Mai and you were enveloped in the light and filled with happiness. After that, Rumi took them back into the forest and walked them home. Today was a wonderful adventure. Let's play again, Rumi said with a smile. Mai and you were filled with gratitude and replied, Thank you, Rumi. We will definitely come to see you again. That night, the two of them slept soundly, remembering their adventure with the stars. Even in their dreams, they continued to dance happily with the stars in the forest. And since then, Mai and you have looked out the window at night and felt that the stars were surely watching over them. The secret of the forest continued to shine in their hearts and became a precious memory that they will never forget. After that, Mai and you went to the secret forest of the stars many times and played with Rumi and the other stars. One day, Rumi invited them on a new adventure. Today is a special night, so let's go deeper into the forest and I'll show you a bigger secret. In the forest, there was a beautiful picture drawn by the stars. The leaves and petals of the trees were lit up with colorful lights, and they looked like constellations in the night sky. Rumi pointed to the lights and said, This is a picture we draw after we finish work. After everyone goes to bed, we come down from the sky and play in the forest like this. Mai and you were fascinated by the beauty of the forest. I can't believe we have such a wonderful secret. Rumi smiled and said, This secret is just for you too. So don't tell anyone. They played a lot in the forest that night and had a wonderful time. And when they went home, their hearts were filled with happiness. When they met their mother and father, they kept their secret, but they were smiling in their hearts. The secret forest of the stars will continue to shine in their hearts and will always be a precious place for them. The end. A family of mice and a secret underground passage. Once upon a time, a family of mice lived in a large forest. Father Mouse Rocky, Mother Mouse Rose, and their children Mimi, Momo, and the littlest one, Chew. Their home was a warm and safe nest at the base of a big tree. Every morning, Rocky walked around the forest looking for food for his family. Rose was good at keeping the house clean and cooking delicious food. Mimi and Momo loved to play and always enjoyed adventures together. And Chew was still small and grew up receiving all the love from his family. One day, Mimi and Momo found a mysterious entrance deep in the forest. It was a gaping hole in the ground that looked as if it was inviting them. They were excited and decided to go inside the hole right away. Inside the hole was dark and cool, but their sense of adventure did not stop. They walked through the tunnel and eventually reached a large underground passage. Beautiful light was shining in, and various patterns were painted on the walls. Mimi and Momo were amazed and started to explore this mysterious place. After walking a little further, they found a large underground lake. The water of the lake was clear, and sparkling stones were scattered on the bottom. Mimi picked up the stone and said excitedly, "Look, Momo. I've never seen such a beautiful stone before." Momo was equally impressed and replied, "This might be a treasure." As the two were collecting stones, suddenly, a loud noise echoed. They turned around and saw a huge crab appear from the lake. The crab had a scary look on its face and swung its large claws at Mimi and Momo. The two stepped back in surprise and ran away, shouting, "Let's get away." However, the crab quickly gave chase. The two ran desperately, running through the underground passage like a maze. Just then, Rocky reached the underground passage and heard the children's screams. He immediately headed in that direction and rushed to save Mimi and Momo. Rocky saw the crab and stopped for a moment, but quickly regained his composure and shouted, "This way, hurry!" Mimi and Momo followed their father's voice and ran behind Rocky. Rocky quickly found a hidden door in the wall of the underground passage and evacuated the children inside. The crab was stuck in front of the door and could not get in. Mimi and Momo were able to evacuate safely, but their hearts were pounding. Rocky hugged them and gently said, "It's okay, you're safe now." He told them that Rose was also worried and waiting for them and decided to go back home. The three of them went through the hidden door and safely reached the exit through the underground passage. When they went outside, the sunlight felt dazzling. When they returned to the house, Rose and Chew were waiting for them. Rose breathed a big sigh of relief after confirming that they were safe. That night, the mouse family warmed themselves in front of the fireplace and told the story of the underground passage that Mimi and Momo found. Rocky told the children how clever and brave the ancient mice were. Rose cooked a delicious feast and the whole family had a good time. The next day, Rocky decided to continue investigating the underground passage. The whole family worked together to start an adventure to find out what was in the depths of the underground passage. Mimi and Momo, of course, but also Rose and Chu joined in. There were still many secrets hidden in the underground passage, and the mouse family was excited by new discoveries every day. Rocky went deeper into the underground passage and found traces of where the ancient mice lived. There were old tools and murals left there, and they were able to get a glimpse of their lives. Rocky was moved by his discovery, and the whole family decided to protect the place. Meanwhile, Mimi and Momo found new friends in another part of the underground passage. It was a little mole named Maurice and his family. Maurice told Mimi and Momo about his life and the secrets of the underground tunnel. Mimi and Momo became friends with Maurice and started playing together every day. One day, while Mimi and Momo were playing with Maurice, they heard a strange sound coming from the depths of the underground tunnel. The three of them went towards the sound to find out what it was. They found a huge snake trying to take over the underground tunnel. Mimi and Momo immediately returned home to tell Rocky, and Rocky and Rose came up with a plan as a family. Rocky said, "This underground tunnel is also our home, and we have to protect Morris's family," and they all came up with a plan to get rid of the snake together. The plan was as follows. Rocky was in charge of luring the snake, and Mimi, Momo, and Maurice decided to use the hidden passage in the underground tunnel to get behind the snake. Rose and Chu watched from a safe place and cheered them on. Rocky stood in front of the snake and shouted loudly, "Hey, this is not your place." The snake noticed Rocky and angrily charged at him. At that moment, Mimi, Momo, and Maurice threw stones from behind to distract the snake. The snake turned around in surprise, and Rocky quickly caught its head. Mimi, Momo, and Maurice continued to throw stones at it, and the snake finally left the tunnel and fled into the depths of the forest. The whole family was very happy to be back home safely and to have been able to protect the tunnel. Maurice and his friends celebrated with them, and the mouse family deepened their bond with their new friends. That night, the mouse family and Maurice had a big party in the tunnel. While eating the delicious feast that Rose had made, everyone shared fun stories and memories of their adventures. The next day, Rocky decided to explore deeper into the tunnel. Mimi and Momo said they wanted to go with him, and the whole family set off on a new adventure. An amazing discovery awaited them further down the tunnel. As they passed through the tunnel entrance, a different landscape unfolded before them. There was a huge underground cavern with beautiful stalactites hanging from the ceiling. In the center of the cave stood a large crystal pillar that emitted a mysterious glow. Mimi and Momo's eyes lit up when they saw the crystal pillar. "Look at that! It's so beautiful," Mimi said. Momo nodded and thought, maybe this crystal is related to an old legend? Rocky showed the family an ancient drawing on a nearby wall. It showed that the tunnel was once a kingdom of great mice. The drawing had a magic spell engraved on it to protect the tunnel, and the family tried to decipher its meaning. Suddenly, they heard a low roar from deep inside the cave. They went towards the sound and saw a giant bat building a nest there. At first, the bats were wary of the family, but Rocky spoke to them kindly, saying, "Hello, we're just exploring this tunnel. We won't get in your way, so don't worry." The leader of the bats listened to Rocky's words and relaxed his guard a little. There are people who have lived in this land for generations. We are part of it. If you have any problems, please come to us. Wanting to become friends with the bats, Mimi and Momo asked, "If you don't mind, please tell us about the world of bats." The bats were happy and began to tell them the secrets of the tunnel and their history. Mimi and Momo were fascinated by the story and were moved by the world they didn't know. That afternoon, they went to the ancient altar at the deepest part of the tunnel with the bats. There were beautiful ornaments and tools used in ancient rituals lined up. Rocky found an ancient scroll placed on the altar and examined its contents. The scroll detailed the spells to protect the tunnels and their secret uses. Rocky took the scroll home and studied its contents with his family. The family realized that the tunnels were not just a maze, but a sacred place where the great rats once lived. The next day, Rocky and his family continued exploring the tunnels again and explored further inside. They discovered a large stone door left by the ancient rats. The door had a complex pattern and a keyhole, and they didn't know how to open it. Rocky tried to use the spell written on the scroll to open the door. Then, the door slowly opened, and a dazzling light leaked out from inside. Guided by the light, the family went inside the door. Beyond the door was a beautiful garden that seemed like another world. There were colorful flowers and trees laden with fruit. A beautiful rainbow hung in the sky, and it was a place of peace. Mimi and Momo were so moved by the sight that they exclaimed, "This is the paradise created by the ancient mice." In the center of the garden, there was a large pond with many beautiful fish swimming in it. The fish gave the family a welcoming greeting. The family rested by the pond and enjoyed spending time with the fish. Later, the family found a small house in the garden. Inside, there were traces of the ancient mice's habitat. Rocky investigated the house and obtained valuable information about the lives of the ancient mice. As the day ended, the family left the tunnel and returned home. On the way back, the family reflected on their adventure and were grateful for the many new discoveries and friends they had made. When they returned home, Rose made a hot soup and the whole family shared the events of the day. Chu was also excited about his adventure in the tunnel and asked her to tell him a bedtime story. The family decided to continue exploring the tunnel and enjoy more adventures. Every day was full of new discoveries and adventures for the mouse family. There were many more secrets hidden in the underground tunnels, and the family uncovered more mysteries every day. The end. A fluffy cloud's nap. In the blue sky, Fluffy white clouds are drifting, watching over the earth. Clouds are always busy working in the sky, but they actually have another important role. That is, at night, they lead children on the ground to a world of gentle dreams. In particular, the fluffy cloud Cumarin was famous for fulfilling this role well. Cumarin drifts in the sky from morning, watches over the earth during the day, and thinks about what kind of dreams he will deliver that night. However, he seems to be a little tired during the day. So he decided to take a nap every day. Naps are very important to him, because only a good rest can enable him to perform at his best at night. One day, Cumarin was drifting in the sky, looking for a particularly good place to take a nap. Where should I take a nap today? He wondered as he floated softly. Each cloud has its favorite spot, and Cumarin enjoyed finding a different one every day. Under the blue sky, there are green forests, lazy rivers, vast deserts, and large mountains. All of them are attractive, but Cumarin chooses a place to take a nap depending on his mood that day. On this day, Cumarin found a fluffy grassland on top of the mountain. The place was so beautiful that it seemed to have jumped out of a picture book. The green grass swayed in the wind, and a soft fragrance drifted about as if it was waiting for a nap. It must be nice here, Cumarin thought, as he landed on the grassland with joy. When he arrived at the grassland, he first enjoyed the view around him. From the top of the mountain, he could see the distant view, and the blue sky and green grassland stretched out endlessly. Birds were flying in the sky, and a quiet breeze was blowing pleasantly. What a wonderful place! Cumarin was moved. Then he gently lay down on the grass and closed his eyes. Though he thought, I'll just sleep for a bit, Cumarin soon fell into a deep sleep. As a fluffy cloud, Cumarin can fall asleep quickly anywhere, but the comfort of this grassland was special. The softness of the grass and the gentleness of the wind enveloped Cumarin, and he soon began to sleep soundly. In Cumarin's dream, fun events different from usual began to unfold. First, he and his cloud friends rolled around in the sky, transforming into various shapes and playing. What should I transform into today? Cumarin wondered. First, he transformed into a big fluffy ship. The ship was made of clouds and could leisurely sail through the sea of the sky. In the sea of the sky, rainbow-colored waves ebbed and flowed. Cumarin and his friends jumped into the waves and played happily, surrounded by the rainbow light. The waves were soft, and Cumarin and his friends passed through them as if they were swimming in the sky. Occasionally, rainbow splashes sparkled, and the whole sky was enveloped in a scene as if we were in a fairy tale world. Going further, a huge cloud island appeared above the sea of clouds. The island looked as if it was made of sweets. There were fluffy cake mountains, a river with a cream waterfall, and a meadow with colorful candy flowers. Let's have a sweets party here, Cumarin called out to her friends. The clouds immediately started preparing for the sweets party. Cumarin took a slice from the mountain of cake and shared it with the other clouds. Everyone was delighted, saying, "It's fluffy and delicious." A lot of sweet cream flowed from the cream waterfall, and the clouds collected it on a plate and enjoyed even more sweets. In addition to cakes, candies, and cream, various sweets appeared, and the clouds enjoyed until they were full. But time passes even in dreams. Eventually, the sun began to tilt little by little, and the colors of evening began to spread across the sky. Cumarin began to think, "It's about time to end my nap and get ready for my night work." When Cumarin slowly woke up, the sunset spread all around him. The orange sky was beautiful, and Cumarin was fascinated by the sight for a while. "I slept well," he said, stretching out with satisfaction. Thanks to his nap, Cumarin was full of energy again and prepared for the night work that was about to begin. When Cumarin returned to the sky, the sunset dyed the sky and stars began to appear one by one. "It's about time for night," said Cumarin, and together with the other clouds, they began to prepare to lead the children to the world of dreams. Cumarin and her cloud friends play an important role in carrying the children on the ground to a gentle dream during the night. The fluffy clouds take a good nap during the day and work hard to deliver gentle dreams to the children at night. Cumarin also fulfills his role well and looks forward to the next nap. Every time Cumarin sleeps in the sky, he may be having a new adventure in his dreams. At night, Cumarin floats in the sky, watching over the children on the ground. He looks out at the night sky with excitement, wondering, what kind of children will come to the world of dreams today? Thanks to Cumarin's kind consideration, the children on the ground can fall asleep peacefully. Then, Cumarin and his cloud friends quietly disappear at dawn and go looking for another fluffy place for the next day. They find the perfect place for a nap and fall asleep softly again. So, if you look up at the sky at night and see a fluffy cloud, Cumarin may be taking a comfortable nap inside it. And at night, Cumarin returns to the sky to lead the children to a gentle world of dreams. The end. A Family in the Heart, the Forest of Stars. Once upon a time, in a beautiful forest where the light of the stars shines, a warm-hearted family lived. The family was Rio, the father, Sakura, and their two children, Kenta and Misato. This forest is not like an ordinary forest, because at night, the stars fall among the trees, creating a dreamlike landscape. One night, Kenta and Misato could not fall asleep even after getting into bed. Outside the window, the stars were twinkling and the forest was quietly breathing. Their mother, Sakura, came into the room and smiled gently at them. "Can't you sleep?" Sakura asked. Kenta nodded and asked her mother to tell him a story. Sakura thought for a moment, then said, "Okay, I'll tell you a special story about our family." They listened to their mother's story with shining eyes. A long time ago, when Rio and Sakura were young, they first came to the Forest of Stars. At that time, the forest was still a normal forest, and at night it was pitch black and the stars were not visible. However, Rio and Sakura were fascinated by the beauty of the forest and decided to build a house and live there. One night, Rio decided to take a walk in the forest. Then, deep in the forest, he saw something shining. It was a big star stone, and its light was very mysterious and had the power to heal the heart. Rio took the stone home and showed it to Sakura. Sakura picked up the stone and said that this stone might turn this forest into a special place. From that night, starlight began to pour into the forest. With the power of the star stone, the whole forest shone and the night became bright. And Rio and Sakura began to live happily in the star forest. One day, Kenta and Misato decided to go see the star stone deep in the forest. Having heard the story from their mother, they wanted to see the stone. Rio and Sakura sent them off while giving them a warning. Rio said, "Be careful not to get lost, because the forest is large." Kenta and Misato nodded and headed into the forest, hand in hand. The forest was bright with the light of the stars, and walking through the trees, it felt like walking on a starry path. After walking for a while, the two reached a beautiful lake. The stars were reflected on the surface of the lake, making it look like a sea of stars. Kenta was excited and suggested that they take a break here. Misato nodded, and the two sat by the lake and looked at the stars. After resting for a while, suddenly a light shone from the other side of the lake. It was the light emitted from the star stone. Kenta and Misato stood up with shining eyes and started walking towards the light. The path was a little rough, but the two of them held hands and continued on. Finally, the two reached the star stone. The stone was bigger than they had expected, and the light shone even more strongly. Kenta reached out to the stone and gently touched it. Then, the stone became warm and a pleasant sensation spread. Misato touched the stone in the same way and said, "Wow, Kenta." That night, Kenta and Misato returned home and told Rio and Sakura about their adventure. Rio and Sakura were happy that they were safe and said that they would continue to take good care of this forest as a family. After that, the star forest continued to shine beautifully, and Rio, Sakura, Kenta, and Misato lived happily. At night, the whole family gathered around the star stone and bathed in the starlight with one heart. The light strengthened the family's bonds and gave them the strength to overcome any difficulties. Then, one day, Kenta and Misato decided to go on a new adventure. This time, their goal was to find a secret place in the star forest. Rio and Sakura gave them lunch boxes and water bottles and told them to be careful. As Kenta and Misato walked through the star forest, a large tree suddenly appeared in their way. Kenta looked up at the tree and wondered how to get through. Then, Misato found a small gap. After passing through the gap, the two of them arrived at a space enveloped in a mysterious light. In that space, star flowers were blooming and butterflies of light were dancing. Kenta and Misato were taken aback by its beauty. They decided to pick one of the star flowers and show it to their mother. When they got home, Sakura smiled very happily after hearing the story of their adventure. She carefully placed the star flower she had picked in a vase. The flower shone like a star at night and enveloped the whole house in a gentle light. After that, Kenta and Misato enjoyed many adventures in the Star Forest. Rio and Sakura welcomed them warmly each time, and the whole family shared the beauty of the Star Forest. One night, Kenta and Misato went to bed and told Sakura about their adventure that day. Sakura smiled gently as she listened to their story. Then, he hugged them and said, "Today was another wonderful memory." The starlight gently lit up the room, and the bond between the family deepened even more that night. Kenta and Misato fell into a comfortable sleep, surrounded by their mother's warm voice. The next day, Kenta and Misato set out on another adventure in the Star Forest. This time they were accompanied by their new friend, Koro the squirrel. Koro spotted them from the top of a tree and approached them curiously. "Let's play together," Kenta asked, and Koro replied enthusiastically, "Sure." The three of them ran around the forest, playing hide-and-seek and collecting nuts. Eventually, Koro offered to tell them a secret place. Kenta and Misato followed him excitedly. Deep in the forest, in a place no one knew about, there was an old wooden house. It was the house where Koro's grandparents lived, and no one lived there now. But inside the house, old tools and furniture remained as they were, and it was as if time had stopped. Kenta and Misato explored the house and found many treasures. Old books, toys, and beautiful paintings were on display. They were particularly captivated by the painting of a starry sky on the ceiling. It shone like a real starry sky. After finishing their exploration, the three of them had lunch outside the house. The lunchbox made by Rio and Sakura was very delicious, especially Kenta's favorite omelette. Koro also brought some nuts and ate them together. After filling their stomachs, the three decided to go to the Star Stone. On the way, many animals greeted them. Mimi the rabbit, Con the fox, and birds sang songs while flying in the sky. It was like a big parade. When they arrived at the Star Stone, the three of them joined hands and started dancing while bathed in the light. As they danced in the light, a mysterious feeling spread and their hearts became very warm. Kenta and Misato continued to dance with smiles on their faces. That night, when Kenta and Misato returned home, they told Rio and Sakura about their adventure that day. Sakura smiled gently as she listened to their story. "You've made another new friend," Sakura said. Rio also said, "That's wonderful," and the whole family spent a happy time bathed in the starlight. The next day, Kenta and Misato went on another adventure. This time, their goal was to find a treasure hidden in the forest. Rio and Sakura gave them a map and told them to be careful. The two of them went forward while looking at the map. Along the way, they met many animals, each of which gave them a little hint. Mimi the rabbit said, "It's hiding under the big tree," and Con the fox told them, "Look behind the rock." Finally, Kenta and Misato found a treasure chest under a big tree. When they opened the treasure chest, they found many beautiful star decorations inside. Kenta picked it up and said, "Let's take this home." Misato nodded, and the two of them went home with the treasure chest. When they got home, Rio and Sakura were very happy to hear the story of their adventure. They decorated the house with star decorations. At night, the decorations shone like stars, enveloping the whole house in a gentle light. After that, Kenta and Misato enjoyed many adventures in the star forest. Rio and Sakura welcomed them warmly each time, and the whole family shared the beauty of the star forest. The whole family remembered the happy days in the star forest in their hearts and looked forward to spending more time together in the future. In that forest, their story will continue forever. One night, Kenta and Misato went to bed and told their mother Sakura about their adventure that day. Sakura smiled gently as she listened to their story. She then hugged them and said that they had made many wonderful memories today. The starlight gently illuminated the room, and the bond between the family deepened even more that night. Kenta and Misato fell into a comfortable sleep, surrounded by their mother's warm voice. That night, in the starry forest, where the light of the stars was shining down, the warm-hearted family continued to spend happy times together. Rio, Sakura, Kenta, and Misato's family built a strong bond under the light of the stars and had the strength to overcome any difficulties. The stars in the forest continued to shine quietly, watching over the love and bond of the family. The whole family remembered the happy days in the starry forest in their hearts and looked forward to spending more time together in the future. In that forest, their story will continue forever. And even when Kenta and Misato grow up and have their own families, the memories of the starry forest and the bond between their family will continue forever. They will never forget their adventures in that beautiful forest and the love and warmth of their family, and will pass them on to the next generation. Family ties shine forever, like the light of a star, shining through any difficulty and giving hope and courage. With this in mind, Kenta and Misato looked forward to their new adventure in the Forest of Stars. The Forest of Stars is a place where family ties are strengthened and heartwarming stories are woven, and it will continue to shine forever. The end. A great adventure in the magical forest. Once upon a time, deep in a beautiful forest, there was a small village. In this village, animals lived, and they were all very friendly. In particular, the rabbit Luna, the squirrel Chi-Chi, and the frog Caro were very friendly and always played together. Luna was smart and always thought things through calmly. She worked at the village library and read many books and had a wealth of knowledge. Luna loved books from an early age and was especially fascinated by stories of adventure and magic. Her parents also loved books, and there were many books in the house. Luna grew up surrounded by those books and naturally became familiar with books. Chi-Chi was brave and had the courage to face any difficulty. He belonged to the village patrol and was proud to protect everyone. Chi-Chi's parents were brave defenders of the village, and he also became courageous under their influence. He took on various adventures from an early age and was always looking for new challenges. Caro was full of humor and was good at making everyone laugh. He played drums in the village band and entertained everyone through music. Caro's family was also a musical family, and music was always playing in his house. He naturally picked up an instrument and enjoyed playing with his family. One day, while the three were playing in the forest, they suddenly found a mysterious door that sparkled. On the door was written, "Welcome to the Magic Forest." Chi-Chi excitedly said, "This is the beginning of a great adventure." Luna and Caro agreed, and the three decided to open the door and go inside. Behind the door was a beautiful landscape they had never seen before. Large rainbow-colored flowers were blooming and colorful birds were flying in the sky. The three of them were fascinated by this beautiful scenery and went deeper and deeper. After walking for a while, Luna suddenly said, "Look." "What is that?" She pointed to a large crystal lake, and in the center of the lake was a magic wand floating. Caro said, "This must be something special," and approached the lake. Suddenly, the water in the lake started to swirl, and a giant water spirit appeared. The water spirit said in a gentle voice, "A great trial awaits whoever holds this wand. However, whoever overcomes the trial will be able to get what he desires." Though the three were a little scared, they decided to take on the trial. The first trial was a test of wisdom. The three worked together to answer the riddles the spirit posed, and successfully completed the first trial. Many of the riddles were about old legends and history, and Luna's knowledge was very useful. The next trial was a test of courage. They had to go through a cave with large rocks rolling down. Chi-Chi took the lead and said, "It's not scary. We'll be fine if we're together," and the three of them held hands and went through the cave. When they safely got out of the cave, they felt a deep bond and felt even stronger. Darkness spread inside the cave, and a frightening sound echoed, but Chi-Chi's courage led the three of them. Beyond the cave was a beautiful flower field. However, the flower field was inhabited by giant bees that attacked anyone who approached. Luna calmly devised a plan and succeeded in luring the bees using nectar from the flowers. Meanwhile, the three of them safely passed through the flower field. Various beautiful flowers bloomed in abundance in the flower field, and while the three were moved by their beauty, they proceeded carefully. The next test was a test of friendship. A giant dragon appeared and told the three of them, "One of you must sacrifice yourself." The three of them resolved to protect each other, and no matter how much the dragon attacked them, they did not back down. Then the dragon smiled and said, "I will give you this magic wand as proof that you have shown true friendship and have overcome the test." The dragon actually had a kind heart and appeared to test the power of friendship. The three of them rejoiced and took the magic wand in their hands. Then the wand glowed and a door to return to their village appeared. The three passed through the door and returned safely to the village. Everyone in the village was moved by the story of the three's adventure, and the whole village had a big celebration. Since then, Luna, Chi-Chi, and Caro's friendship has grown even stronger, and they have always dreamed of new adventures together. And thanks to the magic wand, their village has lived in peace and happiness ever since. The story doesn't end there. With the help of the magic wand, the three began a new adventure to make the village even better. They also cooperated with other animals around the village and tried to make the whole forest a peaceful and beautiful place. One day, the three found a small bird, Pee-Pee, in trouble deep in the forest. Pee-Pee had fallen from its nest and could not get back. Luna gently picked up Pee-Pee and said, "It's okay, we'll help you." Chi-Chi and Caro also encouraged Pee-Pee and started looking for the nest together. The three searched all over the forest and finally found Pee-Pee's nest. The nest was on top of a big tree, and the three of them worked together to return Pee-Pee to the nest. Pee-Pee's family was very happy and expressed their gratitude. Caro told Pee-Pee, "Be careful not to fall again," and Pee-Pee replied cheerfully, "Thank you. I'll try my best to fly by myself again." After that, Luna, Chi-Chi, and Caro continued to protect the village while helping various animals. Their friendship and courage gave hope and courage to all the animals in the forest. And with the help of the magic wand, they tried to make the whole forest a peaceful and beautiful place. Every year, a big festival was held in the village, and the story of the three's adventure was passed down. The children of the village aspired to be like the three and learned the importance of courage and friendship. The story of Luna, Chi-Chi, and Caro became an eternal treasure for all the animals in the forest. And the three of them dreamed of new adventures to continue to protect the peace and beauty of the forest for a long time to come. Their friendship and courage will continue to shine in the forest. One day, while walking through the forest, the three found a new mysterious door. This door was even more shining than the previous one, and it said, "Only true heroes can pass through." The three were excited again and looked forward to a new adventure. Luna said, "We'll be fine," and Chi-Chi replied, "We can overcome any challenge." Caro also said with a smile, "I'm looking forward to this adventure." The three opened the door and stepped into a new world of adventure. A wonderful world unseen before them spread out before them. The three held hands and began to walk, looking forward to encountering new challenges. Thus, Luna, Chi-Chi, and Caro's great adventure continued. Their friendship and courage will give them the strength to overcome any difficulty, and their story will be passed down forever. Their adventures continue, but each one will become a precious memory and further deepen their bond. The end. Let's end today's story here. Have a good rest and have sweet dreams. Good night.